check the YouTubes.
Data bits are going out, allegedly. We don't know, so we're trying new things.
Yeah.
That's going out. We're going to go live. Let's go live. There.
We are live on YouTube, so that's good.
Hello, YouTube. How's it going? Hello, Twitch. And hello, my fellow senior citizens over on Facebook, because we should be live there as well.
Looks good, Ven.
I have no idea how to get to our live thing on Facebook.
Yeah, I got to log into Facebook on this computer. I have it. I usually only use it on mobile.
Yeah, somebody posted it. Might have been you posted it Saturday.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, because I wasn't me like trying to make a funny thing for the stream. Like, I have no idea how to get to our live stream. Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, so we're getting ready to do the thing and do the stuffs.
Yay!
Looks like it's doing it.
It is.
We got our Nginx, our Nginx worker process humming along.
Hi, Steve Husband.
Well, I guess now I need to do a little more social media too. And I'll do that. Then we're gonna go. And we're gonna say, Don M, thank you for the sub.
Oh, thank you, Don M. Hugs.
Remember, kids, drugs, not hugs.
Yeah.
Live with LWDW. Probably.
Mm-hmm.
I'll learn how to spell probably one day. I know it doesn't have three B's in it, but it should.
Yeah, Steve Husband, it looks like there's no sighting on the block. Hopefully, keep my fingers crossed.
All right. It's holding, everyone. It's holding.
Yay.
Our multi-stream.
Yes.
So you know what that means. Next week, we're going to keep stacking live streams on it until it blows up. Then we're going to go, okay, we know the limit. We can roll it back one notch.
I will go get my phone once I take a break and check see how Facebook is doing.
And YouTube. So everything looks like it's doing good. So if you don't know, Saturday we tried a multi-stream because Twitch did a thing for all the affiliates. We're like, hey, you can stream to multiple places again. And I'm like, that's pretty cool.
That's very convenient, very nice. I know a lot of people have been upset about that, including us, because it's annoying.
I've never been upset about it.
Well, you weren't happy when you became affiliate and you're like, oh, I can't stream to YouTube anymore.
That was just like part of the agreement, right? Like,
yeah.
You
didn't care.
It's indifferent, but they've removed the limitation so we can stream anywhere you want. Like, one limitation they do have is we can't combine the chats.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah.
Oddly enough, we have the technology to combine all the chats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what the bot's doing. But we do have a bot that combines chat, just not for like streaming services. It combines our Discord, IRC, and Twitch chat all together in the live channel.
Mm-hmm.
And, but I can't add YouTube and everything else to it too, because that would be against their TOS for now for like whatever reason. But if you prefer watching the live stream on YouTube, or the only reason we're doing Facebook is it provided me a technical challenge because it required SRTMP, which is not supported out of the box with Nginx RTMP module. And I did a pretty nasty hack around to make that work, and it somehow worked. So now I'm just doing victory laps with it.
Yeah.
But
well, the nice thing is there's quite a few Linux, a lot of the graybeards are on Facebook, including John Mad Dog Hall. That's where I talked to him. And all the Scale peeps are on there, and a lot of the people who speak at Scale. So yeah, actually after Twitter, Facebook is, a big community for Linux users.
Yeah, most of the people I know on Linux are like, I've deleted my Facebook account. So each to their own. Like I said, it was a technical challenge to get SRTMP working with Nginx. Oh, I hear you, Vin. Are you going to? Yes, I'm working on a guide for it.
Yeah, Mir. Yeah. So Facebook sponsors Scale. Yeah, they're one of the big sponsors. So it's kind of natural. So that's why it's the home base for a lot of the Scale peeps.
I got a pop-out chat. If somebody wants to type something in a YouTube chat, they're welcome to, and I'll be like, hey, I know you've typed something in YouTube chat. I'm also out of screen real estate with 3 monitors. I understand the irony of this.
Yeah. I've got it open too. The YouTube chat. Here, I will boop.
I don't know. Like, I don't have a personal... I got rid of my Facebook page, dude, like, before it was popular. I could go on the internet and be like, hey, guys, I got rid of my Facebook page. And I'm like, wow, that's an incredibly brave, safe bet that is popular with everyone right now. You were so brave. And, but, I was on the Facebook when it was the Facebook. I had that account when I was in graduate school. So, when it started, because it was just locked to a couple of universities at the time, and tech happened to be in one of them. When did we ditch Facebook? I don't know. Probably like 2005, 2006, somewhere in there. It's just basically you don't want to be on the same social media network as your parents.
Yep, and that's unfortunately why I got stuck there. But what I do, I have all my family is on there, but what I use my personal Facebook account for is to post all my podcasts, LWDW, Destination Linux, and all my Scale stuff. So I just use it for work-related stuff and podcasting. and all my family enjoys, watching my videos. But a lot of the Linux, it's good discoverability for a lot of the Linux peeps that are on there from Scale and whatnot. Aw, hi, Master Toy Maker. I see you on YouTube.
I need to get to that. Oh man, I gotta finish working on that.
Hi, Inertia.
I can close that. I gotta quit looking at that. That's like turning into a big list of
Inertia.
stuff I need to do.
That was a thing. That was annoying. Yeah, it's really a pain when you're trying to, you want to give someone a Facebook link, and if they're not signed up, it's hard to look at the link.
Well, the thing about Facebook, like even in one of the things I say, I try to drill it into people and they don't listen to me, and that's fine. I'm accustomed to it. Is you got to get outside of your bubble, your tech bubble. Very important to get that perspective of like everybody else uses Facebook.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And I'm also on Instagram and Threads. So I post LWW on Twitter, Mastodon, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads.
I have I'm not on a ton of social media because I follow a very strict, like 70-30 rule with any social media that I post. And like, really, it's more like an 80-20 is like 80% of my content needs to be non-self-promotional stuff.
Yeah.
And 20% is like, hey, I'm releasing a show, or hey, this thing's doing, maybe you want to go check out this Patreon post. So you don't end up with just a like constant, people don't typically follow a lot of that if that's just like that feed. But if you post some interesting stuff on your social media, stuff that you find interesting, stuff you're looking at, stuff you can get a conversation going on with, that'll usually help grow your social media no matter where it's at. That's just kind of a nice general rule. Unless you're on something like TikTok, then it's all about you.
Oh yeah, I'm on TikTok too. but I'm on there professionally too. So that's the thing. I haven't posted LWW on TikTok, but have I? Maybe I did. Oh. Yeah, Amir, I know that's a thing now with Twitter. It's their APIs are messed up. I read a thing that they're gonna fix that. So hopefully.
So you gotta get the Twitter post unless you're logged in?
Yeah, they've been. The APIs are just messed up right now. Yeah, when you post in Discord, if you try and go to that link.
Oh, you guys are talking about, okay, you're not going to get that social media thumbnail. You can get to the post just fine if you're not logged in. You just got to click on it. It goes right there.
Yeah, you got to click on it, but you can't, paste the pretty, the picture in the tweet.
It's not going to pull the social media graph images.
Yeah. And that's a fairly new development. It used to do it just fine. I used to post, tweets in our Discord.
All right. You want to go hop up for a bit, Jill? I better get going.
Will do. Hi, Barkover.
Yeah, Twitter's not going to go anywhere. I mean, and if it does, big deal. I think MySpace is the cautionary tale, isn't it? I think MySpace is one of the most, in the very extraordinarily short life cycle of social media, MySpace was the one that I think a lot of us were of the age where we saw it come out of nowhere, then it blew up. And MySpace was the place for about 10 minutes. Then Facebook came out a bit later and opened up a bit later. And MySpace is just what is MySpace? When was the last time we went to MySpace? It's strange. And if you're like in your 20s, you're like, what is MySpace? Like, you've heard about it, maybe of internet legend, but you're like, what? It's like, no, that was it. Yeah, Friendster was a thing for a minute. And we had Google Plus. Depends on what you want to use everything for. I don't know. I know some people got some crippling addictions to social media. Like, they got opinions on it. I'm like, whatever. Silly. The last time I went to MySpace was, it had an animated record spinning on it. Like, they were going to do something with it. I'm like, oh, okay. And that was it. I never heard about it again. I assume it's still there. Somebody still owns the IP. But then we got things just go poof. You never know, man. What was the news yesterday? Effectively, all of Zero Punctuation pieced out. I think the notable name from that was Ben Yahtzee, ZP. Like 12 years. Been doing those videos. ICQ is still around. I can't imagine what ICQ is used for in 2023 coming in on 2024. I don't know. Maybe somebody will crack it. I mean, IRC is still around. Everyone talks about IRC. And, we have like decentralized alternatives, but I mean, it's like the whole thing. The people who are usually championing all the decentralized alternatives don't even use it. And I'm like, I see a problem. Yeah, Tom. A lot of us of a certain age miss Tom. I don't know if I miss Tom, but Tom was your first friend on MySpace. Nostalgia. IRC, like, I've always begrudgingly used IRC. Since the 90s. Since the 90s, man. That's been my relationship with IRC. But that's about it. We use Discord for chat. I don't have any particular love for Discord. That's just like where conversations are taking place right now. And I have zero allegiance to platforms. Like, Now, this is the cool thing about IRC. IRC saved us from having to do a lot of moderation in the early days, because that's where... Now, we have a bot right now. If you're in our IRC chat, it'll come right up on the screen, because we have a bridge for it. Our Discord, Twitch, and IRC is all bridged together for chat. But IRC was really neat, and still is. We used it as like moderation. It was a litmus test. Like, if you could figure out how to get into IRC, usually you weren't going to cause any problems in chat. And it worked really good. Yeah, and Discord and Slack, if you use Discord for what I use Discord for, it's just random chat. We're good. That's all I expect from it. Now, I take issue with like people trying to use Discord for documentation. And guy like, hey, if you want further information on this, join my Discord. Not gonna happen. Exactly. Like, I just go on to like next project I'm looking at if I have to get into your Discord to like get the thing I need.
Yay.
Hello, Yaska. We have an IRC. It's on our web zone. Let's go take a look, everybody. It should be under live. Hey, we're live. IRC, LibreChat, hashtag Linux Gamecast. Oh yeah, it's there. You can go check it out.
Yay.
All right. There we go. Okay, I think everything's together in one piece. Jill, I'm going to go grab something to drink, and
okay.
We're going to do a little bit of a show.
Cool. Oh, hi, JS Carhawk. How are you doing? It's good to see you. Oh, I'm catching up on what? On your chat, Barco. Oh, yeah, ICQ. Yay. Yes, we do have an IRC channel. In fact, that's... Here at Linux Gamecast, we've been streaming for over 10 years. And so IRC was our original chat client. So, but we still kept it when we moved to Discord many years ago now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, IRC is great. I still have my account. And it's nice seeing let me see. This is Facebook Inception. That's kind of cool. Let's see. I'm taking pictures. That's pretty funny. Yeah, it's something unique. We've never gone live on Facebook, so I'm documenting it. Oh, I got my Barbie mug. Oh, and Artherin. Okay, so here's my Barbie mug. I got it again. Artherin, I didn't see you last week in chat. We missed you. And guess who came into chat last week live? Jeff Geerling. So that was a lot of fun, and I was bummed you weren't here talking to him. Yeah, I figured, but you could go watch. You could go back. Yeah, wait, what? Yes, yeah, Jeff Geerling. So you should go back and watch the unedited. That was really, really cool that he showed up. I've talked to him on Twitter, and so has Ven. So, but it was nice to have him show up live. Yeah, I know. I know the one time you're gone, right, Arthur? Yeah, the one time you're gone. Aww. No, you're not cursed. You're here today. That makes me happy. I missed you last week. Yeah. IRC, Twitch, YouTube, or Discord, the preferred chat. Discord. You could become a patron for just a measly amount a week.
Billions of dollars a week.
Yeah. And get Firstborn. On our Discord. But
yeah.
we also...
We got the IRC, and if you're a Twitch subber patron, you can link that up to your Discord. But yeah, IRC is linked to our live chat, just not our weekly general chat.
Yeah.
Blimflarks. Yeah, it's to get paid, man. We're gonna see. It's my plan. Whatever a Twitch sub is. It used to be when I launched our Patreon, we could do 5 cents.
Yeah.
5 cents.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember. Yeah.
That is as low as it would let me set it, because here's the beautiful logic behind it. It is 5 cents is just as important for access to a chat room as $1 is, because people behave when they have an investment in it. One thing we don't have a problem with in our Discord, with what, 80 people in it right now, is moderation. Everybody's cool. Now, people have arguments, which are fun to watch.
That they are, definitely.
It's not, there's no, group think, and not everyone's in lockstep, and it's great. And we have a bunch of different topics going on, much to the chagrin of some people. Like, I can't keep up with this. But you don't have to deal with the people that just pop in to cause problems. The people who just drive around chat rooms throwing Molotov cocktails and just run off and you never see them again. Yeah. We don't have to worry about that.
Oh, hi, Scoots. Yeah, Vin, when you left, I was Arthur came in, and I was telling him he missed Jeff Geerling in our live chat last week to go watch the unedited. And he's like, I'm cursed. I'm bummed.
Aww.
Yeah, because I knew he would love to talk to him.
Yeah, Jeff popped in for a minute last week.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It is an excellent deterrent. When I first...
Oh, thank you, Barco. He pledged $250 on Patreon. Thank you.
Sweet. The plan worked, Jill.
Yeah. You're officially a Death Note. You get access to the show notes.
This is true. Do I have Money Penguin still? Oh, I don't see Money Penguin anymore. Oh, I know it's still on the system, but I need to set Money Penguin up. We got a great little penguin dancing around.
Yeah, it's so cute.
Yeah, in a previous life, I've had this conversation before. Told you guys, I was looking for something to do when I was like, okay, I don't have to do a super tight 9 to 5 anymore. So I bought a bowling alley. That was a bar. And I was like, cool, let's rebuild it and do this. This is what I do, right? And it's like, I'm not going to have a cover charge. Cover charges are dumb. I hate it. Always hated cover charges. And I was meet space group with a couple other bar owners, and they're like, yeah, you're going to get a cover. I'm like, no, I'm never going to do that. 3 weeks in, I had a $5 cover charge. Cover charges aren't about making money. Cover charges is to keep people who would come in and have a roar, and very effective. Potassium. Why would you eat potassium? What has potassium in it? Bananas?
Yeah, bananas. High in potassium.
When the last time I had a banana? Oh boy, let's not think about that. Hello, Romero. Is it Romero or Romeo? I just think of you as like Sid.
Oh, hi, Low Spec Linux Laptop. Good to see you again. See, we go back to YouTube and we get our peeps that used to watch us several years ago back. That's kind of nice. Oh, banana, penguin.
I'm not allergic to food, Steve. You really don't want to dance with me who eats healthier, homie. You really don't.
Lettuce and vodka. Aw.
Head down. Oh, yep. Here's what my holdup is I'm waiting. It's now going to be here tomorrow. I think I talked about it last week because I got a fun little thing about a little bit of audio history, which is going to be the first FireWire audio interface ever made. The first one released and why it was released and why Apple, everyone's favorite company, was both the cause and solution. So it's going to be a fun tale to tell. And we're going to find out whether or not we can get away with running a studio on a piece of hardware from 2021.
Yes. Oh, Low Spec. Yeah, of course you do. You've been on Twitch. Yeah, I knew that.
Jill's just excited that we're on YouTube and Facebook. It's new.
Yes.
This is running a lot. I mean, it didn't run unsmooth on Saturday when I launched it, but if you were listening live in Discord in our pre-super shows, and there was a whole lot of like, let's see what happens, because this is prime engineering of like me in an afternoon going, how do we get this set up? Which I did. So instead of paying Restream like $20 a month, I guess I'm just gonna, I gotta run some stuff by Jordan because the way I made this thing work with Facebook was prime Venstone of like
hackery.
I can make it work, but you probably need to bring a team in to clean up the fires.
Oh,
but if you need to get it working right now, I can make it happen. So that was my solution to that. So I'm going to get Jordan to take a look at it and see if there's any glaring security issues. But once I get that done,
nice.
This is being run on, I spooled up a $5 nanode.
Oh, nice.
And it's nowhere near capacity. So like theoretically, we should be able to stream like 8, 10, like any place that you could think to stream to. It'll be good.
Nice. Oh, Romeo said, Vicious, good to see you in live. It's been a while. Hello, big hugs.
All right.
Yeah,
Geerling did a lot of Ansible stuff. I was talking to Jordan, and Jordan was like, yeah, it was weird when he started doing like general purpose YouTube videos. Mm-hmm. You know, like more techtainment type stuff.
Yeah.
But he was like, yeah, I used to watch all of his Ansible stuff. All right, I need to get on the right show notes, everybody, and we can think about, fortunately, I have not made life decisions that have led to me having to deal with Ansible, but I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand, but I don't have to use it, and I'm not going to volunteer my time for it. What am I looking for? There was something I was in the process of doing that I squirreled because I went to the wrong thing. That's good. That's good. That's good. I'm going to open with that. And where are we at? I will say this, so it's not going to be in like the recorded thing, so nobody drags me out about it. I'm in a, speaking of Discord again, I'm in a Discord for TechTubers. Names you would know. I don't know how I ended up in this. It was a friend of a friend invite. And I was reading through that because they're very gossipy about stuff. But the latest thing is, because a lot of us have been interested in AV1 encoding on Twitch, is a lot of them were at TwitchCon. They were talking to people.
Nice.
And they said they were planning on releasing something or making an announcement at TwitchCon, but it just wasn't quite ready yet.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good news. I knew they'd be doing it sometime.
Well, I mean, logically, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Fingers crossed. And yeah, nobody hold me to that because I'm just reporting a rumor. Oh, man. Yeah, having AV1 encode, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I think, anyway. Mm-hmm. We'll be able Absolutely. To do bandwidth conservation. Conservation is the word I was looking for. Let me get over to live here. Mm-hmm. But what's going to happen is you're going to get a bunch of people trying to stream at 1440p.
Oh, boy, yeah. Oh, my.
Which is a wild one. 1080, 60, but maybe we'll be able to get some...
Yay, Joe! Yay, I'm so happy you're watching on YouTube.
Hey, Joe. YouTube is like the obvious one, you know?
Oh, 50 Mile. Wow, yeah. It's completely still here. Oh, poor Mir.
Oh, go play with a kite. Beach kites are awesome, by the way. Like the whole idea of like somebody's knocking on your door, Joe.
Yeah.
Might want to go check that.
I think it might be the tree trimmers.
Might be a good idea, but they're like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, let me go see.
Decode only. What do we got? I don't know. Maybe it's a kissogram. Dude, if you watch Doctor Who, right? The new Doctor Who, which has been out for like 14 years now. The actress that played young Amelia Pond is now 24 years old, man. It's like, I'm so old. But yeah, I've always wanted to get a hold of a beach kite but fortunately, I'm just adult enough to realize that my self-preservation instinct's not strong enough to use that responsibly. Oh, thank you. I'll give you a little plug at the end of the show. Never mind, Joe's already written that down. Haha. Here's Joe. Joe, are we in a... We're at Joe's house. Up on the medium screen. It's hard to call Joe's big screen TV a big screen because Joe has like a 200-foot long monitor. Might be like 201 foot. That's like 17 rods to the hogshead. Watch Blink. Oyster Mud. Yeah, man. Cassandra. I didn't even watch the new Doctor Who until like 3 or 4 years until it showed up on Netflix America for some reason. And I was like, oh, here, let me check this thing out. Because I was the generation that grew up without Doctor Who on TV. I had like 20 seconds of Tom Baker. Then they're like, we're done. I'm like, okay. Cool. Yeah, I don't know what's going to be going on with the Doctor Who. Tennant is coming back for like 4 episodes. And then we're getting a new... I don't know his name. I watched Jodie Whittaker for like 2 series. Admittedly, I was almost getting ready to tap out with Capaldi. I really didn't like that last series with Capaldi's the writing on it. Capaldi did good. Jodie did good, but good lord, those were just... Ugh. Personal opinion. I felt bad for Jodie. Also, here's a free PSA. You can buy shock replacement shocks, strangely enough, for your computer chairs. I finally replaced the shock in this thing. Not the chair, just the shock. $20. Little man. Joe, you did it good on that. You got the Sony A5000, which you, I made a little guide how to hack it with Telnet. Joe did good. Now the price of that camera is like minimum $200 because the world knows that you can use them for webcams, and it's like a 24 megapixel APS-C Sony E-mount camera body that you can get clean HDMI out on. You know, that's what I use. Anything that you see like a hands-down, top-down view, I got it on a stick. I call it a stick. It was like a $60 stick, but a boom arm designed for that. I wheel it over here, it goes over the monitor, and I record on this desktop. Yeah, it's great. Especially when you, I think I got mine for like $150 or something like that. Just ridiculously cheap. Even at $200, like, it's not like a crazy deal, but it's not bad. Has Joe been abducted? I don't know. Do you guys in the yeah, the A5000 is I mean, it's Sony E-mount lens. The Sony E-mount lens is like the Nikon F-mount lens, man. There's just so many lenses for those. But you know what? Webcams have gotten a lot better. Like, strangely enough, Ogie, you know him if you, we do Trackmania on Tuesdays and Fridays, right? We get our own little private Trackmania 2 server set up for the old people, and we play some new tracks every now and then. And we do a cup match. But Ogie filled in for Jordan week before last. That was a Dell webcam. It was a good Dell webcam, but that was a Dell webcam. I thought he had a DLSR. I'm looking at Sid's monitor setup. 3 with the one on top. I've always thought about doing that monitor on top of the monitor, but I can't. Oh God, do a face cam. Yeah, I don't even know what I like. Maybe if I move stuff to like 4K. I don't even know. Or I guess cameras are 4K, right? Not UHD. Yeah. I like the look. Like, if you're in your late 30s, well, you know what? You could be of any age. Let's be honest. I'm on a mission to slowly recreate the setup from Cypher's setup in the original Matrix, right? With all the monitors like that. Like, that's our end goal. The only reason I want something more than 1080p is for like zooming in on stuff, being able to film something and be like, where I don't have to like reset a shot all the time and like get zoomed in. I don't remember. I think it was LCDs, wasn't it? Do we need to go look at that? Matrix monitor Cypher. Is that going to give me what I'm looking for? There we go. This is what we're trying to accomplish as a society. Open image in your tab. Look at those chalky LCD. I guess those are CRTs over here to the left. Oh boy, you can feel the poor refresh rate on those things, can't you? Let's see. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of comical now, but like back in the 90s when you saw that, you're like, that's going to be my room one day. I'm going to have that in my life. And early CRTs were just bad. They were bad. I wanted one, but I wouldn't buy one because the resolution was too low. What are we running? Because they were not widescreen. They weren't 69. They were still 4:3, but they were some weird resolution because I think we were running 1024:7. Was it 1024 768? But they were like lower than 1024. It was some bizarro. And then we had like that weird widescreen resolution before we got 1080p, which was like something weird. I forget what, like 1850 or something, or 1050, or I don't remember. I have one of those monitors left. 1680, yes. Thank you. I was conflating the 16 and the 50. But now everything, like, it's going to be good luck finding something that's not UHD. And like finding 1080p monitors is a bit of a challenge these days, isn't it? Yeah, 16.9, 16.10, as long as you're like hanging around like something like that, you're usually pretty good shape. Oh, hackers. The one thing I remember about hackers, the absolute singular one thing I remember about hackers, were the MacBooks booting up with like 3D movies for the boot screens. And even as a child, I knew that was unbelievable. Yeah, Scott just bought one of those ginormous monitors too. Now, admittedly, I have a ginormous monitor. I have a 43-inch Acer monitor, but it's not that, it's basically a dumb... I don't even think 43 inches qualifies as a big screen anymore, does it? Yeah, once you get like the ginormous, like 40 plus inch, I've always had big monitors, 30 inch, 20, yeah, I think 28's about as small as I'd normally go. But once you get something like 43, 45, 50, something like that, you got to be careful. You'll never go back. Now, admittedly, it'll take you about a month to be able to walk into the room and go. Your brain takes a minute to get adjusted to that. Like, that's weird. I like the idea of ultra wides, but that's as far as I've ever gotten with. I have a ultra wide. Do we even call this an ultra wide? I don't know if I'd even call this an ultra. Yeah, I guess it is an ultra wide, isn't it? What is it? What is the screen resolution on this thing? 2560 by 1080. It's the show note monitor. So, mayhaps. Uh-oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. There we go. Now we're back on that. It's kind of wild. Yeah, I think all right. One of the main reasons I'm hesitant to get ultra wides is, or I just have the one, is I need something that will bust down to 1080p. In 4K, your standard 30 UHD 3840 by 2160, I can bust that down to 1080p without having to do any like formatting changes because I record screens a lot in here. I think if I set up like just a personal computer, like a gaming PC, I would get an ultra wide. Maybe nothing like crazy and sick, but probably like, I don't know, like 30 plus inch at least. I don't know if I'd get a curved one though. I'm not sold on the curve. And I think that's got a lot to do with I sit far enough back from the monitor to where it just looks silly. (3440, 1440). That's a good resolution. Samsung Odyssey 49-inch. That sounds good. Yeah, I've not had much luck with getting the monitor. I have one monitor. I have a Acer business monitor over here that has dual support and picture, and I've tried to set that up and make that work for me. Never did. I mean, it works, it functions, it's just in my workflow. I couldn't find a way to, yeah, if I set up close to a curved monitor, it seems like it'd be a dope idea, but like my monitor is nowhere near, like I need some extra arms. I need a corn dog to hit, because we're using corn dogs for units of measurement this afternoon to touch the monitor plus my arm, and I got long arms, man. I like flat monitors too, but try to go on a search for an ultra-wide flat monitor, because I'd like to replace this monitor with an ultra-wide for the DAW, because it would make sense, because I could get the entire session without scrolling. But finding one that was, a recent, updated, modern, ultra-wide, that's going to be like at least 30, more than 30 inches ultra-wide. QHD without a curve in it. Oh. They get expensive. Do you guys have a dance-off?
Oh my God. So, long story short, it was a contractor wants to do work on our house, and this is a good thing. But at the same time, an ambulance showed up on the block because one of my neighbors got sick. And the other neighbors weren't around, so I answered questions as much as I knew about her to the emergency crew. Yeah, it's just one of those days.
Well, don't worry, the tree cutters will be here in a minute.
Oh God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had a dance off, that's for sure. But I am happy I was out. I guess it was the right moment to be interrupted because my neighbor needed help.
You'd just be like, yeah, I've never really liked her. Anyway, I got to go. Bye.
Yeah. I know. That's what I told him. I said, I'm in the middle of podcasting. I got to get going.
It's like when you're trying to check out. I used to run into this. Now everywhere's got self-checkout, but it would be like they were doing the donation drives and you're trying to, like, oh, would you like to donate $20 to Children's Miracle or whatever? Like the third time, I'm like, I hate children.
Oh, okay. Oh no, honey, it wasn't Mrs. Lewis. It wasn't Mrs. Lewis. I'll tell you about it later. It wasn't a neighbor that we know real well. So. Oh boy.
Well, good. You got your socializing then for today.
Yeah, I did. It's not even a neighbor that I know the name of. I just know that it was someone that lives on the end of the street, an older couple. So that's all I know. But I was able to help them a little bit.
All right. Well, we had a good conversation about monitors. So
okay, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience, everyone. That was like, I think a half hour was I gone. Oh, jeez.
All right. But we are going to get going now. Because I have to transmogrify all this into a podcast after. So.
Yeah.
This is the fun, easy part. There we go. Are we recording? We are recording. Look at that. Good. Boom. All right, everybody.
We have speed.
Let's do it. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Linux Weekly, daily Wednesdays where we sit back, relax, take that midweek break, talk about some of the fun things going on in the world of Linux, open source, ambulances. You never know. Yeah. Many things take place. Yeah, we've been playing around in the pre-show, just kind of watching, because something I've set up, I don't know if we've talked about it on this show, but we are Twitch affiliates, and they altered the deal for us a little while back. And they're like, hey, you can stream on other platforms. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, because we used to stream on YouTube as well. I'm like, okay. So maybe that's something we need to explore. And I'm like, sure, this has been years and years ago that we used to do multi-streams. I'm like, hey, what does it cost? There's got to be a service, right? I'm to do some multi-streaming. It's like, I just want to replicate the feed. Should be easy enough. I head over to restream.com. For nothing, as long as we can put our branding on. I'm like, I don't want that. I'm like, well, how about standard? No branding. Give us $19 a month. That's down here in the mice type when billed monthly. I'm like, that seems kind of high. So I spent all of 45 minutes on a $5 Nanode from Linode. That's not a commercial for Linode, by the way. And hacked together a restream solution for YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook, because Facebook required RTMP-S, and it didn't do it out of the box. So I wanted to see if I could make that work, and apparently it is working. And we tried it out Saturday, and everything worked. We didn't have any crashes, and it seems like it's working right now. We just had a pre-show. We got YouTube chat up. I have no idea how to even get to the Facebook live stream. So if you're watching on Facebook, hi.
You go to the live video tab.
I don't know where that is. No idea. I'd be like, no, we're going to take your computers away unless you can find them. Just take them. But I'm going to get Jordan to look over security-wise, because I did some pretty nasty engineering on getting the RTMPS thing working. And if that passes enough, I'm just going to put that there, because I'm a huge fan of value, or something that you can do yourself and save a bunch of money and just have some really good results with it. And this seems to be working pretty well. So keep an eye out for that in the future. And speaking of things that are about to come out, I posted for our patrons, if you're curious about all this nonsense and how it's wired up, but more importantly, how I do the system itself, from okay, I got a copy of Debian 12. Where are we using Debian 12? I explained this in the video, and it's not a guide. It's more of a behind the scenes of okay, let me just walk you through how I set up every box in the studio, and it's front to back. How do we get the kernel installed? What modifications need to be made? What security stuff needs to be disabled, and why you should not do this on your desktop? Because that's going to be the first YouTube comment, I guarantee you. I can't believe you told people. I clearly told people not to. This is going to be hilarious. I'm going to have a good time with it. But it's the type of things you do for setting up a workstation without personal information on it, which is the big difference there. And what else? Oh, yeah. The podcast, when it goes out today, is I did a little test Saturday. I'm moving distribution of our podcast. We host our own podcast. Been doing that for 12 years. It ain't cheap, but all of your data bits and tracking and things like that don't happen. We just got it. I'm moving the distribution of that over to Cloudflare's R2, which has been kind of interesting. And what that means for you, if everything's right, nothing. You'll not notice anything. But if there are some hiccups, that's what it is. So if you're listening, it's oh, okay, I had a problem with that updating, but it should get the podcast itself, just for the way I have it set up, to distribute closer to whatever your endpoint is. I doubt anybody's ever had a problem downloading a 30, 40 meg file, but that's been a learning experience. But Jill, one thing we were talking about yesterday is something I think a lot of us don't really think about. We do Trackmania on Tuesdays, and we just talk shop, talk tech, and race around tracks. Come join us if you want.
It's a lot of fun.
It is a great community, and we're filthy casuals. That's the name of it. Nobody in there's doing pro strats. We're just derping around having a good time. But we're talking about power consumption. How much power our CPUs use, and modern CPUs. And people were talking about oh yeah, 100 watts, 70 watts, I think. Turbo was talking about that. And it'd been a while since I looked at Threadripper, which is a first-gen Threadripper. And I remember when I first built it, I plugged it on, just powered it up. I'm how much is this thing really using? And it wasn't great, but it was about 135, 140 watts. I'd never checked it after I'd stacked it completely full of video capture cards, fiber optic card, bunch of NVMEs, a bunch of SSDs, GPU. I shouldn't have looked at that. Because I looked at the number. I'm like, that can't be right. I shut the box down and I cut it back on, doing nothing, just sitting at the desktop. 240 watts.
Yeah, amazing. Yep.
Not amazing. No, that was not the word I used.
No.
I didn't say, wow, that's awesome.
It's a lot.
That was at idle. Nothing was running. So check that. I'm curious. Like, leave me a comment on the video. If you have an APC, a UPS, chances are you have a little button there that will tell you what your power draw is, what you're currently using. So take a look at that and let me know, because I'm curious. Is like, do you even think about what your desktop idle draw is? And I mean,
yeah,
completely idle, like not hibernating, but just like sitting at a desktop. Do you ever think about that, Joe?
Yes, actually. And I'm hearing tree trimmer trucks.
We're not hearing them.
Oh, good. Thank God. Okay. So yeah, I have checked it with some of my really old computers, but not my modern, newer, desktop computers. But like, of course, like with my DEC Alpha, that was a whole nother thing. Dual processor DEC Alpha. Whew, that had 2,000 watt power supplies. And it would bring the house electrical down if I wasn't careful. But my modern computers, I usually don't bother with them unless I'm going to be running a lot of them at once. Like when I used to do rendering for animation and whatnot, I would pay attention, but not lately.
I got to keep things reasonably tight in here. This room was selected for one reason. That's because this room is on 2 separate breakers. When everything's cut into this room, you can't plug everything into one breaker. One out. It'll just trip it. It's too much wattage, but I can split the load and it's not too bad. But I saw that you were excited about a puzzle platforming game that's got a sequel where you can run around and play with boxes and fans and
yes,
lasers.
Absolutely. So one of my favorite first-person puzzler games of all time has a sequel, and I talked about this a few weeks ago. I've been loving playing Talos Principle 2 that came out last Thursday on November 2nd, and I'd played the demo a month ago, and now get to play the full game. Woohoo! It actually has a really great story, which answers a lot of questions from the original Talos Principle game, but you're not going to get any spoilers from me because you need to play it. It's if you played the original, you've got to play this sequel. And you also get to use classic game mechanics you know and love from the original, as well as new, awesome puzzle mechanics with traversing around huge maps. It's really amazing. The size of the maps for the sequel is just amazing. And
yeah, it's got like a little hub in it instead of just linear progression. I've been watching a couple of people stream it.
Yeah, it does. And what's interesting is this one, it's got all the puzzle platform mechanics, but it's got it has a lot more cinematics and story elements to it, telling you, how you were created and how your universe was created. And it answers a lot of those questions, but it also has a lot of exploration elements, not just puzzle platforming or, first-person puzzle. It's also exploration as well. And one of the things that's cool is Devolver Digital made a Talos Principle 2 and Portal crossover promotional video with the original voice of GLaDOS, Ellen McLean. And it's called GLaDOS Plays the Talos Principle 2, and it's on YouTube. And go watch that. It is amazing, and and they even say it's pretty funny on the description. It says, "Now go play the Talos Principle 2, you monsters," just like GLaDOS would say it. But it is hilarious. So they do a GLaDOS narration on Portal 2. It's absolutely incredible.
The Talos, we've called it the Talos benchmark, the original one.
Yes.
Because even last night, Jordan got a new video card. And of course, I was just waiting around for the screenshot. And he's like, and there's our Talos benchmark.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. In fact, because it was Devolver Digital with the Sirius engine, the Talos Principle was there first with to demonstrate Vulkan. So you remember those days, Ven, when we were testing that out?
It was good.
Yeah.
Like Vulkan rolling out was a huge jump over OpenGL performance.
Yeah.
I've watched a couple of people stream the latest Talos principle, and they'd get to a point with the puzzle. I'm like, yeah, that's where I'd quit. So it's
yeah, it is hard. You know, the original Talos principle is actually harder than Portal or Portal 2. The mechanics at the end are mind bending. But it's really awesome, and it's such a triumph, you know, when you get through the finish of it. So I'm probably about halfway through on Talos Principle 2 and just really loving it. Every night I've been playing it.
Good. It's good to have a game like that.
Oh, and look, Ben, here's us on Facebook. Yay!
Is that a screenshot of us on Facebook, or are we not moving?
No, that's the live feed of us on Facebook.
All right. Look at
Isn't that cool? So it's neat.
Let's see how delayed it is. Hi, everyone.
Yeah, it is a little bit delayed.
2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 1 week later.
Yeah.
Hey, there it goes.
There it goes. Yeah.
All right.
But what is nice is you can rewind the stream, which and it looks very nice. It looks as high quality as Twitch, which is pretty cool.
Should be fun. All right.
Yeah.
So, what do we got up first this week? Well, we're going to put the fox in a box. That's as far as I can go with a rhyme, because this is Firefox Nightly. Debian packages for Debian systems, for systems that use Debian. I know, Ryan. Because if you've been looking for an easy way to install Firefox Nightly and a snap, no, not that kind of snap. No, just a regular good old-fashioned type of, just a snap. The good one. You know what I'm talking about. Or if you're just on Debian, or one of the mini Debian babies, you want to call them, we now have an official app repo. I mean, this is like 5 easy copy pasta steps. That's it. You're done. You're so good to go. Yeah, it's like, okay, this just simplifies it. It takes the thought process out of it. You do an apt update, boom, hey, we got a new version of Nightly. I don't have to mess around downloading anything. Now, what I'd like to see is take this a step further, because my brothers and sisters, you might be familiar with downloading big, evil, nasty Chrome. But it comes in a Debian package, and it just automatically does this for you. You know, it sets up everything in your app sources. You don't think about it. You know, you do what I do, because I still use dpackage because I'm horrible. But sometimes I remember to use apt install with a downloaded deb package. I'd like to see that little bit extra added on that. But this is still a fantastic way to get your nightlies. And you need to keep in mind that this is nightlies. So you don't get to put the TM symbol after it just works. There will be problems. There will be days where you will have, like running in any other nightly build, there will be days where things just don't work at all. So you don't want to rely on it as your primary browser. But if you want to see the latest and greatest and what's upcoming and be part of that experience, and you're on a Debian-based system, Debian, Ubuntu, Mint, whatever other thing is based off Debian, install it, set it up, use it, and participate in the process, because what starts out nightly eventually works its way into stable in ESR.
Just so awesome. This is such fantastic news. And what's really cool is after the nightly.debs are tested for a while, Mozilla will also make them available for all the releases, including the beta, the ESR release, and the default stable downloads for Firefox. Woohoo! So all my years of using the tar.bz2 binary to install Firefox on my Debian and Ubuntu installs is going to be a thing of the past. Yay! Because I will be able to use the convenient.debs. I was so excited about this because since the beginning of time, I've been using tar.bz2. And it's just going to be nice and convenient to not always have to update my systems in that way, and just have easier .debs on my Debian and Ubuntu systems.
And I appreciate that it's been made for Debian and it works with everything else. Because I think one of the first things people learn when they decide to go, it's like, I just want to mainline that Debian experience. I don't want the body kit and the Firefox muffler. I just give me the raw stuff. And they run around trying to put some PPAs in, and it just breaks everything delightfully. And I'm like, lesson 1, we don't use PPAs.
Yeah.
So just to have something that works universally, from the source Debian all the way out to your Ubuntu's, especially if you don't want to deal with containerization on the desktop, you don't want snaps, you don't want flat packs, you just want a browser.
Yeah, you just want a browser. And it's nice that we won't have to do a .desktop file or what I used to do. I always used to make a symbolic links to the Firefox tar.gz when I unpacked it.
Oh, yeah.
That was a thing, and it's nice not to have to worry about that anymore. Except on my other distros that I run, I will still be doing that. But at least on Debian and Ubuntu, I won't have to do that anymore.
There'll be a link in the show notes. Don't worry about it. Like I said, 5 easy steps. There's not even a hard one at the end, and you can get that set up, and you can go play with the nightlies. Now, Fedora 39 is out. It's real, and it's powered by Linux kernel 6.5.
Yeah. So, yes, the Fedora Linux project has just released Fedora Linux 39. Fedora Linux 39 is the latest stable release, which, as Ven says, features the Linux kernel 6.5. And the default flagship Fedora Workstation 39 now features the latest GNOME 45 desktop environment, which has all kinds of cool features like a keyboard backlight, quick setting, and new activities and camera indicator, and revamped settings, and Nautilus file manager apps. And what's really cool also is that the Fedora KDE desktop spin features KDE Plasma 5.27 LTS. The Cinnamon desktop spin features Cinnamon 5.8, and the Budgie desktop spin features Budgie 10.8. And some of the apps that were updated include the latest LibreOffice 7.6 and Mozilla Firefox web browser 119. And it also includes the latest Mesa 23.2.1 graphics stack for those of us that like to game on Linux. So that's good news indeed. And, the default Fedora workstation has been the poster child for the default GNOME desktop. And this one is no exception. It shows off GNOME 45 in all its beauty, and keeps it simple with no changes, just the vanilla GNOME 45 desktop experience. And one of the things they added, which it seems kind of simple but is actually quite important, is that there is a new colored bash prompt, which replaces the monochrome one. If you remember using the terminal in Fedora, it's visually, sometimes you get lost when you're doing a lot of commands and you need to scroll up because everything's the same color. So now you have a pretty colored bash and you can change the colors. And it's just going to make it so much nicer to use the terminal on Fedora. And the new wallpaper is beautiful as always, and it actually has a water bubble with a blue, very beautiful blue gradient theme. It's really nice. And you can, update it with DNF directly from Fedora 38, or just download the ISO and install. And, something else that's really cool. Earlier this year, the immutable distro Fedora Onyx was actually accepted into Fedora's immutable spins lineup, and Fedora 39 marks its official release. So, very cool indeed. We got new spins.
Fedora's come a long way.
Oh, it sure has.
Like, it's actually changed as what you would expect from it, the original billing, because when we take a trip back long ago, because Monday was kind of an interesting day, November 6th, but we need to talk about November 6th, 2003, because that was 20 years ago. That was the first release of this thing called Fedora Core 1. Right?
Yes.
The first couple of releases, they were like, hey man, what core are you on? I'm like, I'm on Core 1, I'm on Core 3, I'm on Core 6.
Yes.
I remember downloading and installing this, like making it a thing, because I had just gotten my hands on this new Moon technology from AMD, which was the CPU that supported x86 and x86-64. I was like, I can install a 64-bit version of Linux, and I did, and none of my media codecs worked, and it was pretty bad. We've kind of forgotten about that transition from moving to 32-bit to 64-bit on the desktop. It was kind of rough, but this is so good to see. And back in those days, and rightfully so, Fedora held on to that bleeding edge, kind of expect everything to mostly work, but it was a great way to stay up to date, but don't complain when something, just got knackered completely.
Mm-hmm.
Things are a lot. I'm going to say by Fedora 24, it was more of something that I'd feel comfortable saying, yeah, you just put Fedora on your daily driver and you're good.
Yeah.
You're not going to run into any problems. And even more so in modern times, we're at 39. You're like, yeah, Fedora is more of just a distribution. It's still reasonably up to date, but it's more of a distribution that you just put in, use a daily driver. You don't have to worry about it because the true Linux-loving miscreants and psychopaths are running, Arch, and, there's still the Gentoo people out there laughing at all of you. But good news. Good news.
Yeah.
I was happy to see this. I know we got several people in our community running Fedora, used to work with Fedora, and all the way, I don't think I've ever had necessarily a bad thing to say about it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they've been really kind of the go-to distribution for the latest and greatest other than Arch. But it's stable. And they were the first to introduce Pipewire and Wayland. So, yeah.
Which aren't stable.
Yeah, I know. They aren't, but the distro sure is stable.
Fight me.
Fight you.
If you want to find out how Fedora 39 works with the latest 7000 series AMD cards, tune in Saturday for Linux Gamecast because Jordan just bought one and he will tell you the truth. So hopefully it's a good experience. He'll tell you all about it. If it's a bad experience, he'll tell you all about it. Now, coming up next, a little slice of ARM. That's right. ARM has gobbled the Raspberry Pi up. But it's not bad. It's not bad at all. Yeah. This comes from Tom's Hardware. What has actually happened? I just wanted to go ahead and give you what's going down here. ARM made a strategic investment in the Raspberry Pi Limited, which is part of the Raspberry Pi Foundation. That's their business side. Now, there's no details on how much money they gave them, how much they invested, which I'm like, all right, fair enough. But I don't want everybody to panic about this because I've seen a bunch of OMG, let's panic, everything's on fire. Why? Because they're saying, hey, man, we're not going to get RISC-V CPUs. To remind everyone, Raspberry Pi is a member of the RISC-V Foundation. That doesn't mean we're getting RISC-V CPUs, but I wouldn't completely rule it out. So saying that, ARM is doing this to prevent future adoption, or at least immediate adoption of RISC-V-based solutions, well, you're probably not wrong, but I don't think you were going to get that in the first place because Raspberry Pi is heavily entrenched with Broadcom and ARM in their ecosystem. What this is ultimately, hopefully going to lead, and I can see ARM coming out and going, you know what, this is strategic. Let's just make sure that we're best buddies. We're good friends and help them out. So, we have so many other SBCs releasing RISC-V cores right now. So hopefully this is going to lead to a better, a tighter integration between the Raspberry Pi Foundation and ARM, and we just get cooler ARM stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah. Don't
what
panic.
I think too. Yeah.
Maybe panic a little bit. And if you're saying ARM's doing this to make sure Raspberry Pi stays with ARM, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Then tell me how this is a bad thing. But RISC-V, and that's still going to be an option down the road. And if you want RISC-V right now, go get one of the, that this is what drives me up the wall. Drives me up the wall when people complain. You need to be part of the solution, people. Like I said, I've not been happy about the supply issues and what led to the supply issues and how that was addressed with Raspberry Pi. But I've already said, the next thing I'm going to buy is going to be an Orange Pi. Why? Because I'm going to be part of the solution instead of just sitting around the internet going, grrr. So yeah, go buy it or RISC-V from somebody else, but also express your displeasure. Jill, why is this super magical fun thing? Nothing bad could ever come from this, right?
No, I think this is a good thing. The Raspberry Pi 5 that was just released uses actually silicon designed in-house by the Raspberry Pi company, which is a first. And I'm sure this will mean that the in-house designed silicon via the RPI I/O controller, which is right here. I can't even read it because I would need a magnifying glass. And I'm sure that this will make cement that chip being made in the ARM family in the foreseeable future. I mean, this just makes sense, right? So
here's what I want. Here's what I want. Give me a $250, $300 Raspberry Pi that can trade blows with whatever Apple's making right now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But, ARM is the designers and IP holders, and, they license that out and other people build the technology on it. So I don't want everyone to think that all of a sudden, like overnight, we're going to start getting like M-class series. They're probably going to stick with a Broadcom for the foreseeable future. But, it does boil down to don't panic about the RISC-V because you weren't going to get RISC-V in the first place.
Yeah. And again, the Raspberry Pi is a low-powered ARM device for the Internet of Things.
I mean, it was. Then the Raspberry Pi 5 came out.
Yeah,
it
is much more powerful. It is much more powerful. But they want to keep costs down. So, they can't put an M3 quality chip on the Pi without making it very expensive.
And that's what we want.
Yeah. And that would be cool because it would still be, God, can you imagine, Ven? The price of that instead of the thousands, maybe hundreds for, an M3
It depends if it's like
speed.
an SoC. We talked about this maybe a couple of weeks ago on Linux Gamecast. It's the other podcast I do. Because NVIDIA's getting to the ARM business, and we don't know what they're up to.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're going to try to tackle discrete or system on a chip solutions for home users, enterprise, however that's going to trickle down, and it's going to be part of our Army future. And again, I'd like to see, because the Raspberry Pi is getting up there. Like, let's just have a $200, $300, like $500 system from the Raspberry Pi Foundation that just does away with anything like this is it for education or for not. Like, no, here's the fastest thing we can make. Let's go.
Yeah. Let's go.
Yeah.
I would love that future. Yes.
Build a couple of those. People would snap them up in a heartbeat. And, we're an incredibly small minority, but that we are out there, people who want a capable ARM desktop, or at least something to start building that ecosystem on that doesn't start with a lowercase I.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. And, honestly, I think this is actually extremely positive news, and it could lead to quicker development cycles for new Raspberry Pis. I really think this is positive, because now all of a sudden there's more at stake with ARM and the Raspberry Pi Foundation, who had partnered with them before they even started making the chips.
Well, it's a good idea if your product 100% relies on it. Yeah,
yeah, exactly.
We should at least exchange phone numbers.
Yes.
Hey, everyone, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do that. Head over to linuxgamecast.com, smash that contact button. I got a couple of things on here, man. I'm just basically just have a coherent sentence strung together. This is our contact form. It never leaves the server. It goes directly back to us. And if you're working on an open source project, let us know. We bring you on the show, talk about it, give you some free shout outs. And if you're working on crowdfunding campaigns, just basically make sure you have a Linux build. And if you're going to send spam to us, make sure you use our spam email address or our built-in spam column. We'll nom your email up and it will never be read. And I have because about every 3, maybe 4 months, I remember to go check our spam folder. And we have a system in place that it's almost 100% with the way it works. And you will see somebody trying to get those spammy links through that contact form, and they will just spend an afternoon doing it. I'm like, not going to happen. So make sure you use the right email address. Somebody took us up on that. They wish to remain anonymous. I know who it is. It's a member in our Discord. They were talking about, they watched the show when we were talking about Dell and Linux. And I brought up the story about how, Linux kind of snuck into Dell, and how it got to the point now where you can just order a Linux laptop from Dell. And they listened to that, and I saw the conversation start out in Discord with, "Oh, I used to work at Dell. Let me tell you how this is."
Yeah.
So we end up with this, and this is always fascinating to get a little bit of insight from the inside. They write, I worked at Dell for 5+ years and arrived expecting being able to run Linux. Yeah, you would, right? You would. You're like, I'm going to work at Dell. They were launching Sputnik for customers. Dell was completely unable to offer Linux laptops for employees, even staff doing complex development work and wanting to use Docker, run VMS, even staff capable of self-supporting their own Linux desktops. And I think a lot of people have been faced with that. Like, you can't run Linux. Like, I can make it run Linux. I don't need you guys to know how many people have hit that. A lot. So they asked repeatedly, and a bunch of other people were like, yeah, we're doing the Linux thing. We'd like to use Linux. They said no. And that was over a period of 5 years. Then they left. In that time, they discovered Microsoft and collaboration tools. Yeah. So they said they left after receiving a new precision laptop with a Core i7 NVMe that took 5+ minutes after logging in before I could even move the cursor. IT department had filled to the gills with every piece of Windows junk. So a cautionary tale. However, I think an all too common tale. I get this. I think that's everybody's. If you're moving from one job to the next and you get company laptop, pretty much know the answer is going to be no. Here's how this works. You're like, okay, you get a company laptop, pick the one that you want. You're like, okay, you get a Linux box? You go, no. Can I put Linux on the Windows machine? No. Can I get a MacBook? Yes. I'm like, all right, give me the MacBook. If you've had a different trajectory, but that's the most common one that I've observed. You're like, I'll take it's hard, the different evil. At least you have some semblance of like, yes, at least I can.
You have a terminal.
You can set up Homebrew on the Mac and like WSL. I don't know. I mean, but most people are going to be happy with a window. But if you're doing Linux development work in Linux land, it makes sense to be able to want to run Linux. And there's a lot of situations. Dell is not unique with having, like you're working the Linux stuff. Yeah. What do you run in Windows? Really? Like, yeah, it's more common than you think. But thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah. And I'd actually heard from employees in the past that worked at Dell saying that they had a hard time getting internal computers with Linux on them. And unfortunately, lots of businesses and industries are in the same boat because of the almighty Microsoft contracts. I had to deal with that too in education, where I taught for more than 30 years at a local college. And if I wanted Linux installed, I had to do it myself on about 200 computers. So to get our Linux animation programs running on Linux and whatnot, but they wouldn't support me at all. So I had to take care of it. And that's okay, because that was, our contract was with Microsoft. It wasn't cool, but at least they allowed me to install Linux. So that's all I cared about. Like, nope, my software is being taught on Linux because that's what the industry uses for animation. So I had to deal with that. And, I'm just so happy that the person who wrote us has a new job that's Linux and open source friendly. So very good.
It's a good time. And, a lot of times you're going to run, and especially inside, the large corporate machine, like all of their analytics tracking tools, the stuff to make sure you're being a productive individual.
Yeah.
That's all Windows based, or they might have some Mac applications. Or the most common up in, rewind 5, maybe 7 years ago would be the VPN. To get into work. It doesn't officially support Linux, and that's changed for some parts. But
yeah,
keep fighting the fight. Don't have any shame. Anytime I see one of my friends show up and they like, that's work laptop, and then it's a MacBook, I don't give them any static. I'm like, yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Don't worry about it. All right, beautiful people. That's going to do it. Thanks everybody for watching live on Twitch, live on Facebook. And live on YouTube. We might be live everywhere else next week. I'm going to stack this thing until it breaks because I want.
Cool.
That's welcome to how I was trained to work on stuff. Break it, then dial it back. Then we'll do a nice little guide and show you how to set one of these up in an afternoon, and you can avoid paying like $20 or $30 a month for the same service and instead pay $5. But until next week, everybody. I don't know.
Yay! We got people to
credits?
thank then.
Yeah, let's do credits.
Yeah. So thank you, Barco Burr, who pledged $2.50 a week. He is now a super sweet Death Note in our Patreon chat. Thank you so much, Barco. And he also came in on our wonderful YouTube stream live, which is cool. And thank you to Don M for resubbing for 36 months. Yay, Don M! And thank you to all our awesome patrons, our sea monsters, our Death Notes, our advisors, our chairlings. There's so many of you wonderful people, and you're in chat and interacting and watching and
floating through the exosphere, never to be seen again, sometimes achieving terminal velocity while re-entering. Beautiful people, we'll see you next week. Have a great rest of it.
Yes.
Come hang out with us on Friday. Trick me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Come race with us old people. Crash. All right, beautiful people. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, everyone. Oh, God. Right when you said Venoa, next the tree trimmers are going to show up. And sure enough, I heard their trucks rolling down the street. Fortunately, they were at the end of the block, so you didn't hear them. Oh, boy.
It's, noise has a tough time getting through a couple of systems I have set up in here. The primary one being a multi-band downward expander. So stuff like anything in that frequency, like I won't even hear it, much less after it goes through the second chunk of processing for them at home.
Very good.
Cloud vendor division.
I'm just happy they weren't in front of the house this time, like 2 weeks ago.
There's always next week.
Yeah, there's always next week. I think they're done on our block. Yeah, tree trimmers.
Let's check our email. There's a Humble bundle. Is it a good one? It says a Humble. Let's go find out, team. Let's go. What do we have? Tuned dimension positive. Positive. Boo. Wait, this one looks kind of gnarly. What is that? Is that Hog or Hoa?
Hoa? Hoa? H-O-A. Like a, yeah.
Homeowners Association.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, yeah.
All right. Maybe the minutes of
That's pretty cool.
I like my 2D puzzle platformers, but the ones I like are just mean. Stuff like Hollow Knight. You can have a cute little dog floating around, but
Webbed looks interesting. Oh, what nice artwork. Yeah.
All right. How much?
Oh, yeah, that looks like it would be tricky, Vin. The spider web mechanic.
Let me see. What is our value? At 10, what do we get for 25? The same thing? Okay, so yeah, if you're feeling generous, 25, 10. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't see anything in there that's like grabbing my attention. My stupidly high draw Threadripper with a quad 4K capture, another 1080 input-output capture, 3 NVMEs, 4 SSDs, 120 watt TDP. What is the original Threadripper? But what kernel am I running? 6.1 something. Yeah, 6.146.
Okay.
I built it myself.
Yeah.
What do you do?
Disco Elysium. No, I didn't check the IGN bundle. I'll have to look at that, Inertia. I haven't checked IGN in a while. It used to be a go-to with Humble and all the other ones, but I haven't thought about it in a while.
I haven't seen a bundle from Humble and it's been a long time since Humble used to be really good about at least like every other month they'd drop a bundle. I'm like, okay, I'm buying that.
Now it seems like a little longer than that, like 2 or 3 months. I don't know.
I just haven't seen anything in a bundle, and I'm like, well, it would be silly not to buy that.
Yeah.
You know, is as it is. That's fine and all, but well, you know what? You can take it up with APC. I mean, I haven't plugged it into my kilowatt to like double check it. That's what it's reporting. It seems about right. Like when you stack up the power idle usage of all the electronic bits, you know, maths, it's like, yeah, it's 200 something. Period. The C-State, like the lowest, the Threadripper 1920X and the 1900 and the 1950s, the lowest they'll clock is 2.2 gigahertz.
Oh, okay.
Doesn't matter like what governor you try to hit them with or anything like that. You can just read the data sheets too. They're like, yep, they'll do 2.2, and then you can get turbo up to like 4.3 or something like that. I don't know. I'll sleep over it. I would honestly care if this system was on any other time, but it's only on when we're streaming. So, you know, it could do 200. It could do, you know, 1100. Whatever. I won't lose sleep. I had to keep this thing running 24/7. I'm like, there we go. We're gonna go find some other options.
Yeah.
That'd be a little pricey. Oh man, have they done the zero? I want to see what the new zero punctuation people. They get a new project. I think they said they were gonna like launch it today. They already had a YouTube channel thing set up.
Okay.
One punctuation? How about just all punctuation?
Interrobing. Hey, Jordan, enjoy your new GPU. I know, I was looking at the benchmarks. I have the RX 6950, and it's a little higher on the FPS in games on Ultra HD Ultra. But Ultra settings, but for the price per performance, your card is much better, and you have the AV one. But I got my 6950. I got it after it was when it had came down in price, like it was around $690 or something. It was almost $700 when I got it. Yeah, I got tired of waiting. I understand. And it's nice to have 16 gigs. I've been really loving having that. And then also in my ARC A770, I've got the 16 gigs on that card too. It's awesome. I like being able. That was one of the reasons I wanted that card, is so I could play 4K games on this big monitor. So. Yay!
Oh, let's see.
Oh yeah, that's true, Jordan. Yeah, because you might find it might be like $100 off. Who knows?
This is what I'm talking about. This is what we need to get right here. We need a A4500 20 gigs.
Yeah, that would be nice, Ben.
You plugged it in, it works. I mean, this is one of the advantages of the Faustian deal that you do with Amazon, is like, if it doesn't work, you're just like, yo, it doesn't work. And they're like, cool, here's another one. Or they just take it back. Like, once that's gone from Amazon, like, there's no value proposition for Amazon anymore for me personally. Yeah, you don't have to worry about like hassles with getting RMAs or anything. You're like, just give me another one or give me my money back. I'm like, sure. You're just done. I'm glad for the most part it just went in. Like that's one of the cool things with
yeah,
AMD.
They're really good about that. It did for me too, but I had made sure before I plugged it in that I set up the BIOS settings for what it wanted. You know, the PCI 4 and all that. Oh, because that does help a tremendous amount. The resizable bar had to enable all that stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty much an out of the box.
Yeah.
Hey man, don't knock it. You start like, I joke, but you tell somebody like, hey man, just build the kernel with, and they just like stare, and you're like, what? It's so easy to build a kernel nowadays.
Yeah, it's really easy. Just a few commands and it does it for you.
Like my kernel build system is like super straightforward, and it poops out a Debian package. Well, it poops out 3 Debian packages. It doesn't poop out debug, because hopefully I'm not gonna like ever have to run into that. But yeah, you just feed it, do it. Speaking of, that was that earlier this week? It might have been late last week. GitHub was down because I went to the Torvalds Linux repo because I wanted to pull something, and it 404'd. I'm like, that's not good. But it come to find out that GitHub was being GitHub and pages were 404ing. So that wasn't a fun experience. But out of the box, yeah, AMD's good. Like this, all the 5600G stuff, the 2 5600G systems I have, you just install them, install the distro, and that's with Debian 12. So, you know, it's got to be extra easy with the latest release of Fedora, right? You can play around with Wayland and Pipewire.
Yeah.
Waypipes.
And it should, Fedora 39 should work beautifully with that card. With Jordan's card. I know it mine works beautifully with the Ubuntu 23.10 with Wayland and Pipewire.
Yeah, you need Wire Plumber is going to be a replacement for Patchage or Carla. Is it Carla? No, Cadence.
Nice, Jordan. Yeah. You needed Jack. Yay, Jordan, I'm glad you're in.
Would a real-time, it wouldn't hurt it. The thing is, Doc, is I wouldn't see the advantage of having a real-time kernel set up on a transcoding. Like, if it makes you feel better, yeah, go for it. Yeah, I think we got a NetJack should be in Pipewire now. Question mark. Oh, the curse of doing tech stuff. I do a search for that shows me my videos. I'm like, come on.
Of course.
Come on. I was following it. I'm on the wrong browser. Here we go. Yeah. Here you go, Jordan. If you find you're like, man, I don't have enough to play with.
Yeah.
There's your NetJack 2 module for Pipewire. Yeah. Have fun with that.
Ooh, he says.
I say that going, man, that's going to be fun to debug Saturday, but whatever. The one thing I will say about Pipewire configs compared to like when you gotta get like down in the nitty gritty of it are a lot more hairy than just Jack by itself. Probably not as bad as Alsa. So oh, you got the you got the AMD guts for your framework. That's dope. Having an AMD powered framework. That's pretty cool.
Sweet.
TTL. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything too crazy. To adapt number of kilobits per second when encoding. Nope, you don't want to do encoding on that jack. Buffer size, sample rate, TTL. The only thing I don't see in here is latency. A setting for your latency, for your network latency. I don't know. Try it out and play around with it. Oh, right. That was the one that had to get shipped around the world to come back to you, right? Good times. All right. Well, you gonna go check on your neighbor, or you just gonna lock your door? Like, leave me alone?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna go see if anyone has heard. She seemed to be okay. She was walking, and I don't know why she called. It was just the emergency. We're trying to get into her house.
Mm.
And I said, I know it's a husband and wife. It's a neighbor on the far end of the street in the corner, and I don't know them personally. But I was trying to answer as many questions as I could for the ambulance. Help them out and help her out.
Mm.
So now I will probably meet those neighbors, because you know when there's neighbors that are kind of like in the vicinity but far enough away from your normal circle. Don't always talk to those neighbors on the ends of the street.
Right.
But we know all our neighbors, like, within like 7-8 houses from our house.
Well, that's pretty good. That's a lot better than like living next to somebody and you're like, I have no idea who that person is. I've never seen them.
Oh, yeah. No, we talk to each other, and I've got some of them have become really good friends, and we look out for each other and whatnot. But no one else was home, and I was out talking to this contractor, and I'm like, no, I got to go back to my podcast, and there's the emergency truck. I got to get back. I know.
Oh, can I track that? That's good. All right. Yeah, I'm looking through some of the, because I know Fedora has been added. To Pipewire, and there's just, because I looked in, because I was helping somebody on our Linux audio on Reddit. They're like, how do I get the Fedora drivers? How do I make it use the Fedora drivers instead of the ALSA drivers? And I'm like, well, let me go look into that. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, it's doable, but I don't know. It's gonna be a whole different can of chainsaws to unpack and play around with. I'm just like looking at some of this. Okay.
Oh boy.
Well, I guess like you got to create this module. You got to like make this and shove it in a place and tell it about it. It's a whole different. Pipewire on the surface, once it just works and you just plug everything in and it does, but when you have to get into the guts of Pipewire, it is a lot more to do than what we currently have. So, but it can. I'm looking forward to it. Something to play around with. Mm-hmm. All right, beautiful people. I'm going to go make a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm going to go transmogrify some audio bits and smash them down and stick some video over it and encode it and post it. And as always, if you want the live and uncut version in podcast format, you want the whole 1 hour and 40 minutes of the show. You get that if you're a patron. So that's there. And also an ad-free version, self-hosted over a Patreon video version, which is a high quality, no ads, no tracking, nothing. Just go watch it, download it if you want, watch it on your own device. And make that available. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. Everybody,
bye, everyone.
have a great rest of your week. I dare you.
Yeah.